I like to have the foundation of honesty. So if I'm going to start a relationship, it's not like I'm going to declare or be like, guess what? Back then, 15 years back, 10 years back, I cheated or whatever. If she asks me, I'll tell her, yes, I have.
With respect to once a cheater, always a cheater, I think the existing relationship, if one person has cheated, there's already some kind of void which made you cheat in the first place.
If that person is a friend of mine, I will definitely butt in and tell her that, look, what you're doing is wrong. If she's a stranger, I wouldn't care two hoots about it because it's her life. Let her make her choices.
Unless they consciously commit or they have that talk.
But I don't think there's anything wrong in that.
Because it works for them, exactly. That's not cheating. So, stats show that 30 to 40% of people who are unmarried and in a relationship, and 18 to 20% people who are in a married relationship experience at least one incident of sexual infidelity. And these are the people who've owned up to it.
These stats are far from the truth, by the way, Khushi.
How can you say? How do you know?
I mean, how many people actually come out and confess? Like, do you know how many of them keep it behind closed doors? And some of them, I mean, do it in a way where no one ever comes to know about it.
I'm sure that might be a bigger number.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
So I think we are far from truth in that sense, but it's still I mean, we established somewhere that at least we know that youngsters are doing a lot more rather
Yeah.
unmarried couples or other couples, before marriage.
Before marriage is much higher.
Much
the
higher.
percentage is much higher. And if you haven't guessed it already, today we are discussing cheating.
I'm Vikram.
And I am Khushi, and welcome back to yet another episode of Gibberish. So, Vikram, ready to talk gibberish?
Let's talk gibberish.
Let's go.
So you have done your homework on all the stats and data and everything, Khushi.
Yeah.
What is cheating for you? What according to you is cheating?
In the most simplest terms, violating the most basic terms of your agreement in a relationship for a personal gain or a selfish motive. It may not be physical in nature. It can be emotional also.
Yeah, probably for me it comes down to I mean, my value system probably, or I mean, for me, cheating would is any kind of breaking of trust
Right.
of your partner in any form, or dishonesty in any form. I think, like you said, it can be emotional, mental, physical.
Yeah.
All in all its form, it's cheating for me.
Yeah, it need not be sexual.
Yeah.
In nature. So Vikram, when can you draw the line? I mean, this is highly subjective. But if you had to give your personal take on that.
I've actually seen different takes on this, and I'm being in a profession as a wedding planner and being quite social myself. I've met so many people who are going through different stages of relationships.
Sure.
And I think this changes as per the stage of relationship you're in, also the kind of person you are, or the kind of agreement, like you said earlier, agreement of what you've had with your partner.
Exactly.
I think this, where you draw the line is very subjective. For me, like I said, even I think, I mean, some people say verbal flirting is healthy. Now, where do you draw the line on verbal flirting? Or define healthy?
Yeah.
Or define like what is allowed, what is not. So it's
Exactly.
very subjective.
Very subjective.
And I think it is something at some point every couple should speak,
yes.
especially if one of the two are the kind who are outgoing, friendly, extrovert. Because what I usually see is that many times in relationship, one is not worried because the other one tends to shut people out.
Right.
But what if you're exactly opposite of that? And that's absolutely fine. You have different personalities. That's the beauty of the world. But then how do you tackle with different personalities?
Right.
So I think it's important. It's very subjective, but
Yeah.
it's something that you need to talk about.
And it all boils down to your morals and your ethics. And also the stage of relationship that I highly agree with.
Yeah, because I think I've seen that people tend to open up, or I mean, I think it also comes to a point of security. I think there are couples who are probably who've dated for a while, who know each other so well, that they know that, okay, my partner is not going to cross this line,
Yeah.
and or rather my partner is not going to go anywhere, so they're absolutely okay with some like pushing the envelope. So I think the pushing the envelope happens mutually,
Right.
and I've seen that, and I sometimes I've been so you know shocked or scandalized with what they agree on,
Right.
even if it's just verbal. Sometimes I'm like, okay, you guys are okay with this, and they're like, yeah, we are okay, just don't come and talk to us about it, it's okay. So this, and the same people probably didn't do that in the first year of their relationship, but they are in their ninth year, and they are like, it's okay because I know my partner, he or she is not going to go and do anything else.
That kind of trust has been established.
Yeah.
But let's talk about relationships that are fairly new. So, my question to you is, do you necessarily have to be in a committed relationship in order to cheat? Like, is it a mandatory prerequisite?
If you are seeing multiple people, or if you're seeing someone but you're continuing flirting with other people,
Right.
is that cheating? That's a very, very gray area.
Gray area and subjective.
Yeah, and I think in if I can say for myself, as someone who's been single for a while, and because of that, I have a lot of people with whom I've established a very healthy flirting with, who are probably friends or like social friends, and we do healthy, like I'm talking again verbally, and then. If I meet someone who is potentially a partner, what do? I don't wake up next day and be like, shut it.
Yeah.
I'm shutting
How
this
do you
book.
change that
Oh,
dynamic?
Oh, sorry, I'm not going to reply to your emojis now because I'm
Yeah.
seeing someone. No.
Emojis.
Yeah. So what you do is you obviously gradually try to figure if you're potentially about to date someone, get into a serious
Yeah.
relationship. But definitely at some point you need to have a line in the sand moment where you draw the line and cut what you think is absolutely wrong. At
I
least for you.
think, Vikram, I'm very different with respect to this. I can only do one person at a time.
Okay. Literally.
So, literally, like I can't do two people.
I'm taking all pun intended, yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, but I've heard from my friends, they are so sorted in their head and they're so technical. कि ठीक है, commit नहीं किया ना इसको.
But what you're saying is very technical.
What I see with my friends is that they are okay with seeing multiple people at the same time unless they consciously commit or they have that talk.
But I don't think there's anything wrong in that.
Because it works for them, exactly. That's not cheating. So it's very subjective again.
Unless they are at an emotional stage with one of them. If they're seeing multiple and they're at an emotional stage with one of them, and that person's under the impression that they are committed, that's breaking the trust, and that comes back to cheating.
That comes back to cheating. As long as you're transparent about what it is and what it is not.
Yeah.
Cheating.
Coming to multiple, they're seeing multiple people, right? Like you
Yeah.
mentioned that. With social media today,
Oh my God.
how difficult is it to be loyal to a person? Like, I mean, and again, we'll come to the science behind it.
Yeah.
According to me, there's a science behind it, and we can come to that later. But like, do you think it's harder for people to stay in a
Absolutely. It is a lot more difficult after social media has kicked in because of the accessibility. I mean, it's right there in your face. I mean, I'm sure it would be a lot more harder to restrict your temptations, don't you think?
When I was in college, I thought like you could never reach out to a superstar, a celebrity,
Uh-huh.
and now everyone just slides into everyone's
It's so
DMs. You don't even know
easy.
who's replying to you.
I know.
I have a friend who's like married and she's huge on K-drama,
Uh-huh.
and she slid into the DM of like one of her favorite Korean actors.
Okay.
And he responded to her.
Oh, she got a response.
And she's married and she was joking about it in front of her husband, but she like, I find him so cute. I slid into his DMs and he responded to it. So, like, so it's very hard to not be tempted, or rather to not have access to attractive people, right? It's harder now than before. And I
Definitely
don't mean
it's
just
harder.
physically attractive. It could be just people you look up to, you have
Yeah.
admired, and you can
Yeah.
reach out to them. And I think
Absolutely.
it's making it harder for us to be in a relationship without having clear boundaries.
Yeah.
What is healthy for you? Because a lot of people say that the attention that they get on social media, especially women friends have told me that the attention they get on social media is keeping it healthy. It keeps it healthy. In fact,
Healthy.
yeah, because it's good to get validation from outside to a certain extent, and or to even flirt healthy. By the way, a lot of, I mean, I'm a wedding planner. A lot of married people have told me this, that it's actually healthy to have certain amount of, like, have be get involved in healthy flirting is good for their relationship. Is actually good for the relationship. So again, I don't know how that rolls. I don't know if you know how that rolls, because clearly
I
you're not married.
personally disagree.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have too much of experience,
Yeah.
but as far as my belief system
But
goes,
look, whatever floats their boat. If
Yeah.
it works for that couple, if they both are happy with that concept
yeah.
and they're clear about it and they know where to draw the line, good for them.
But going back to what you said about healthy validation externally, I think if it comes from within, because if they're getting that validation from an external source, I don't think they're going to be too secure even in their
This
relationship.
is a different topic and episode altogether. If you're going to talk about self-love,
But like it's
Self-love,
not healthy.
self-care.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
but
not healthy for
I
sure.
think we all know that. We are all extremely cognizant of the fact that we need to exercise self-love, and external validation is completely superfluous and temporary. But I think no one actually exercises it so clinically, right? We all do
Yeah.
enjoy a bit of external validation in some form or the
You
other.
know what we're talking about? We're talking about toxic positivity and positive toxicity.
I really don't know this. You can educate me.
Yeah, toxic positivity is a term that's existing. Positive
Gen Z
toxicity
term.
is something that I've made.
Okay.
Yeah. Acha Vikram, have you ever cheated?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So,
But I would like to say I would like to believe I was probably not mature enough. I was very young, still slightly older than you are right now.
nobody's judging you, Vikram. You're not
But
asking
yeah,
for
yeah,
explanation.
I have. And again, if you, I mean, for me, cheating is I mean, I kissed an ex when I was with someone. When I was with a partner, I kissed an ex-girlfriend, but it was still, it's cheating, right? It definitely is. And I didn't think of it that time, but now when I think of it, I mean, not just now, but much right after, or a couple of years after that, I realized that I would never do that again.
But what's your take on disclosure? With two people, with the same partner, and with the next partner. Like, would you ever disclose that you have cheated in the past?
Oh, definitely.
You will?
I believe in the foundation of honesty whenever you start a relationship, and I don't think it's something I would go out and declare to the world or go
Sure.
out and tell her. And by the way, almost everyone has cheated at some point. I would like to believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to have the foundation of honesty. So if I'm going to start a relation, it's not like I'm going to declare or be like, guess what? Back then, 15 years back, 10 years back, I cheated or whatever. But I would, if she asked me, I would tell her, yes, I have.
If she doesn't ask?
It is not important for me, because what is important is how I am with her.
Right.
Unless it was something that huge, and when I say huge in the sense of, if I was having an affair with someone while I was in relation, or something that blatantly terrible, then I would have her know. But yes, I mean, I have made mistakes in the past, and if it comes up, I'll tell her. That's
if
how I look at it.
okay, but you wouldn't initiate that.
If you're talking about the subject, I would tell her.
If you're talking about the subject.
Definitely.
If you're not, then you would like wait until it comes up.
Maybe because I myself do not give so much importance to if she had cheated. Like,
Acha.
maybe because I would not judge her for her past.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's me. Like, I mean, again, of course, it comes back to once a cheater, always a cheater. And I don't believe in that. I don't believe once a cheater, always a cheater. And I wouldn't judge my girlfriend if she had cheated in the past. I would like to know her story, or what was her state of mind.
So
What drew her to do it.
with respect to once a cheater, always a cheater, I think the existing relationship, if one person has cheated, there's already some kind of void which made you cheat in the first place, or some kind of distance or trouble that you had in your relationship. I don't want to generalize it or speak for what usually happens, but there are chances, higher chances of that particular relationship not working out. But from that point, I do believe that people can change, people can evolve, and not remain a cheater for the relationships that are coming. Do you follow what I say?
Yes, 100%. But I have to tell you, I have been cheated on as well.
Ouch.
And I forgave the person. And I actually saw a massive change in her post that, which was beneficial for the relationship.
Okay.
So I'm not trying to say to
Okay.
the
So
I'm not telling the world to go cheat and then come back and ask for forgiveness.
was this
No.
some sort of reverse psychology? Huh?
No, what I mean, why would I put myself under the bus for reverse psychology?
You forgive them for you or for her.
No.
For you.
I forgave her because I loved her.
Achha, because you loved her, not for like your own sanity.
No, I forgave her because she actually, she obviously struggled. It wasn't like a acceptance of it. It was obviously the whole process that you go through, which is like, shock and then anger
Yeah.
and then not talking to her and her chasing me to ask for forgiveness and her explaining and
Did you continue the relationship?
yeah, and it continued for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and successfully.
Oh.
So I think that it worked for the better because it helped her grow and understand where she was at fault, which is why I would forgive someone, but it depends on, probably not anymore. Like maybe now if I meet someone and I don't know, I think it's so situation based,
I
right?
think so too.
And I think this whole thing of I was drunk is the
Oh
worst
my
excuse
god.
because it's the most common one.
Yeah.
It's the most common one.
under the influence.
Yeah, under the influence, and you're like, okay, it happened because I was too drunk. Sorry,
Yeah.
that's not happening.
Even emotions. I was so angry and I was so sad. I was not in a good place mentally,
Yeah, what leads people to cheating?
Yeah.
Like what are the different situations that people?
I think desire of variety. As you said, influence. I also think anger and sadness. Neglect
Yeah, lack of attention from your relationship,
and love.
boredom,
Yes.
monotony.
Yes.
That also is a big thing.
Mm,
I also think people tend to stray. Infidelity also happens because temptations.
temptations.
Again, I am a big follower of this science that initially we were not. Again, I'm not some Osho believer or something, but I do believe a lot of people understand this concept that scientifically we were not meant to be with one human being.
And I agree with you. I've read this in my psychology class.
Yeah, we are physically, like we are not born to physically be with one person,
Yeah.
which means we are always going to be tempted by other people. And also, it's not possible in any form or shape to find everything in one person,
That's true.
right? And I do know, like, for instance, I used to be shocked when I used to have friends who used to date, say, I'm talking about girls who used to date, say, foreigners, white boys, and they are proper Desi girls. And I'm like, how does that work? Like, what if you want to watch a Hindi movie? But she said, like, she would tell me, I would go watch a Hindi movie with my other friend.
Okay.
And I would do this thing with my partner. I'll do this thing with my, like, I don't know how I would be able to live with a person who's not into fitness. But I'm sure that I have other friends who are into fitness and I can satiate my fitness, desires every day of blowing the steam and working out with my friends, and then I can enjoy whatever, going on walks or getting a drink with my partner. So I
Is
think
it about channelizing that energy?
no, for me personally, again, fitness is important for me, right? For someone
Right.
else, I know people for whom health is important. I know people for whom being a foodie is important.
Right.
So all I'm trying to say is that you don't find that in one person.
Yeah, of course. It's not like a checklist that you're going to get
Yeah,
everything in one
So
person.
what happens is when you meet people, you develop connections.
Yeah.
What I'm coming to is the connections. You're going to meet people you're going to be attracted to, not just physically attractive, right? And I know a lot of women, especially who are not attracted to guys with six packs, and they're not attracted to guys who are good looking.
I
Yeah,
mean, like six packs.
yeah, it's you do.
I'm not
Yeah,
attracted.
exactly. And but then they are attracted to personalities. So that's how you develop connections.
Connections.
And I can tell you for me as well. I mean, I would go more for personalities, or I like women who are extremely driven because I'm driven.
Right.
So I think those things when you meet, have in someone or you encounter, to deal with that is the harder part. And those who cannot deal with that tend to succumb to cheating.
And I think it's a lot of work that you have to consistently put in day by day.
In what sense?
Any relationship. I mean, you are going to find people who are attractive around you. You are going to be connected with people, but that doesn't mean that the minute that you find someone who could be a possibility of being a better partner, that you leave your existing
It's not about
partner.
better partner. It could just be acting on it. Acting
Yeah,
on an
it's
attraction.
about, yeah,
It doesn't,
acting on.
it's not
That's the
that
right word.
most people don't, when they are attracted to people, they're not thinking of leaving their partner. They're not.
Do you think that they want to have a little bit of both?
Yeah, I mean,
A little bit of
that's,
this and a little bit of that.
by the way, a percentage is wrong, like I said. But because
Batao fir, how do you know?
because I'm
I mean, yeah, you have more experience because
I see it
millennial.
around. I think more than 50% of at least men I know cheat.
Huh?
More than 50% of the men I know cheat.
Okay.
And
And they've owned up to it.
no, they don't own up to it.
How
I
do
mean,
you know?
I mean, look, let's establish one thing for sure. Cheating is wrong. For me, it is
Galat baat hai.
it's like extremely low point in a relationship, and I don't think there's any excuse for cheating, because I'm a firm believer that if I want to do something with someone else, I rather break up with my partner and then go ahead and do. So we should be clear on that there's no way that it's allowed or warranted. Cheating in any form should not be warranted at any point. Even if you're having a terrible marriage. That's my personal point
Yeah,
of view.
there's
Of
no
course,
excuse.
I've never been pushed into that corner where
Right.
I'm in a terrible relationship where I need to cheat. I've never tried, experienced that, so I don't know. But from what I know, I would not do it at any cost.
You shouldn't let it get to the point
Yeah,
where you use it as an excuse that
Right.
that was my only way out or
Yeah.
my last resort.
yeah,
And I think my perspective on cheating has changed over time. So the 21 years that I've lived,
yeah.
I would say when I was much younger, a child, and I would watch movies, I would be under the impression that nahi, cheat kiya, bad person, wrong. And this is how it is, like forever, bad, no go. And this is how we are classically conditioned, right? Like when we watch movies and when we hear our parents talk. But as I grew and I heard experiences, I discovered that it's not always black or white. It's not always right or wrong. It's a very gray area.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's a lot of perspective that comes to you with that. I'm still not saying that cheating is something that you should go for or if it's justified or you should call it right. But there's so much more to just calling a person bad if he cheats.
So I think no one is good or bad in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
I think everyone has good and bad in them.
Yeah.
And I mean, even for me, like what I thought of cheating probably 20 years back, I don't think of it anymore. Firstly, I don't judge people who cheat in the sense that I don't know their story.
Exactly.
I do think that act is wrong.
For sure.
If you're consciously doing it, then you're probably a terrible partner. You might
Yeah.
be a great friend, you might be a great human being.
Exactly.
But you're a terrible partner if you're consciously and very much aware of what you're doing. Not like one night kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
worse than that. But my point is that I don't think anyone is right or anyone is good or bad purely by that. I feel that now. And I also feel with time, and this is a very interesting thing, and I have to tell you this as a third person, as a single guy who's seen people around, I have stopped judging or caring too much about people who are cheating or hitting on me who are in a relationship.
How so?
Because I mean earlier I think a lot of people, women as well, you'll be surprised, but today don't care so much or rather don't think so much about people who are in relationship, like in the sense, like, I don't know how to say, like, there's no moral high ground anymore on this. I don't have a moral high ground on this anymore. In this, and
Okay.
I'm talking as a third person, not when I'm in relationship. Like I said, we've established that.
Yeah.
If I'm in a relationship, how? But if I'm seeing someone hitting on me who has a partner, I'm not here to sit and judge her. I don't know what is going on in her life.
But you would think from your interest, right? Like,
Absolutely, yes.
this is something that I entertain and this is something that I don't entertain.
Exactly, yeah.
Non-negotiable.
I would have that in my head whether I'm supposed
Don't
to
get into that mess.
So, okay. So, I mean, this is again a very complex situation where people say that don't entangle yourself with someone who is with a partner.
Yeah.
Also, because there's so much energy exchange, and a lot of people have told me about how much negativity you might bring in your life by
For
being with
sure.
someone who is
With somebody else.
with someone. Maybe you're not doing anything wrong. You're single.
Okay, yeah. I want to know this. If you're the third person who is coming in between a committed monogamous relationship, you think the third person is at fault? Because I really think that my opinion is going to differ to yours.
Okay. Do you know how many? Sorry to break this to you, Khushi, but you know how many women cheat on their partners when they're on bachelorettes?
That could be
Now,
like
what
I
I want
could
to know-
tell
now
you
what I want to
guys
know-
could do that too.
Now, what I want to know is when they are in Saint-Tropez or Monaco partying, okay, and in Saint-Tropez they meet someone hot
Hanji.
and they have a whatever. I wouldn't call it affair, like a fling or whatever you want to call it. For that
We'll do another
that night-
episode, guys.
Yeah, that
Continue.
night. I want to know. Do you think that guy who's on the receiving end of this attention from 4-5 beautiful women on that beach is coming in between in her marriage? Is he coming in between of her
Wait.
marriage?
If he knows that she is in a committed relationship, then nahi karna chahiye. Stay away. Shut up and stay away. Seriously. If
Why
he doesn't
should he
know,
stay away? Like,
then
what
it's
does he-
not his fault. This is my take.
But how is he at fault even if he doesn't stay away?
नहीं यार खुद के morals नाम की चीज होती है कि नहीं है?
So exactly, that is
That's a subjective thing, I know.
that is subjective because he's
Yeah.
a third person. He's not breaking trust in any form of anyone.
I mean, yeah, he's not committed to anyone. But if the girl discloses that I am, okay, fine. If she is okay with that one-time arrangement and she discloses to him ki,
It's not an arrangement. It could be that you're just hanging at the bar and you have connected with each other
and there's a moment.
and there's a moment. It's not
Yeah.
an arrangement. It's not like a big plan tonight. I'm going to have sex
Is
with
it
someone.
not? Is it not, Vikram?
I don't know. Ask her. I don't know. Ask her.
Call her.
No, but look, it comes back to like what you asked me about this. I would never come in the middle of a relationship.
Huh.
I have never had an affair with anyone who has a partner, and I wouldn't have an affair. Have I slipped up with someone who met me, who was attractive and who was into me in that moment? Yes. Would I continue it next day? No. But again, I'm talking as a
I mean,
single.
you learn from your mistakes, right?
No, it's not a mistake. I don't look at it as a mistake.
You look at it as an experience?
I look at it as an experience because I was
Okay.
single. I was as single as it comes, as they get. I have told the woman that I'm not into her in any way. I'm not emotionally into her.
You've
I'm
told
not-
her that you're not into her.
I'm not looking for a relationship with her.
Okay.
I'm not looking for a relationship with her. I'm not leading her on. I'm not emotionally into her. We've had attraction, and if we act on it, I'm not at fault. Right? If I'm going to continue it, or if I'm going to be a cause of a problem to that relationship, then I'm at fault.
There's a perspective.
Yes. Now, it is on her. The karma is on her.
Very conveniently you're saying this.
I'm telling you, this is a very, and the thing is, there'll be a lot of people who may not agree with me on
I
this.
don't agree with you.
But it's a very, very tricky situation. It is a very
Yeah.
tricky situation because like I said, this is all change with age for me,
Hanji.
because there's no black and white, there's gray, like you mentioned
Exactly.
yourself before.
Exactly.
And with age today, at 40, I can tell you safely that life is not that how it looks. It's not how it looks. How relationships are not how they look.
Yeah.
And you can not always take a moral high ground on things, because you may, I don't know how to explain to you. Like, why don't you take care of your house? This is what it is. You take care of your house. If that person is a friend of mine, I will definitely butt in and tell her that, look, what you're doing is wrong. If she's a stranger, I wouldn't care two hoots about it, because it's her life. Let her make her choices. It's not like I'm the world's designated shrink, but I feel like I have this kida in me that whenever I encounter as a third person, someone straying from a relationship, I sit down literally to therapize them and ask them, like, is there something wrong, or like what is going on? Like, what do you need to correct in your relationship?
You know, I wouldn't disagree because even I've done that.
Because I feel like maybe they need just a reminder from someone that
Someone.
they don't want to do this.
Like, galat person choose kar liya. The person I wanted to not tell me this is telling me this.
Yeah, but I mean, it's, why not? Like, I mean, you need to respect people, and like I said, you don't know what they're going through, and
For sure.
maybe they just needed, like, I mean, someone to remind them that this is not what they should do.
What about the friends who tell you that they know that their partner is cheating, or at least that they feel like their partner is cheating, but they don't know how to? You know, as a third person, yeah, you can definitely say, but as a friend, you can only tell them till a certain point. How would you give them that motivation to go and confront their partner?
This is
How do you
very
confront a cheater?
okay. I've seen people struggle with this. I've seen people uh, actually have sleepless nights and struggle, and go through so many battles in their head when they want to end it, but they don't have a proof that the person's cheating.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, it's a terrible situation to be in, but uh, I, again, from my experience, what I can say is that I've always made sure that honesty is a very big factor in my relationship from both sides.
Right.
And I think that I would have, if it was with me, I would directly confront the person and ask them. And if I ask them in person, unlike today's world where everything is happening on DMs,
Yeah.
if I would meet her and straight ask her if she cheated on me, I would understand whether she's lying or telling the truth just by looking at her when she responds to it. So I think you have to go by your gut.
Yeah, for sure.
If you think your partner is not telling you the truth, if that person is beating around the bush, then you have to go by your gut and take a call. And then of course you take a call whether they want to continue the relationship, forgive the person.
Would
Actually, you can't forgive the
you?
person if they're not ready to confess. So I think the best option is to, if your gut says that person's been cheating on you, the best thing to do is leave the relationship, walk out of it.
But would you give some amount of chances if your gut is telling you something and their answer is telling you something else?
No.
Because there's some, initial form of manipulation or gaslighting that they would do, turn the situation all around you. That there's nothing
don't
like
you think
this.
that
And
the question of chance only comes if they come and ask you for forgiveness, or they come and admit it?
that is
So
when
if
they
there's
don't have a way out.
No, if there's,
But right now we're talking about suspicion.
yeah, but in suspicion, I would not give a chance.
You would not give a chance.
If they are not ready to come out and talk openly with me, I would not give a chance, because for me, it breaks the first thumb rule of honesty. But if there is a confession,
Right.
I would appreciate that, and I would probably then consider.
It's like a disclaimer. देख मैं गुस्सा नहीं होऊंगा मेरे को बता दे ऐसा कुछ है तो बता दे स्टार्टिंग में
So that you say before, and after they say, obviously, you blow the top.
yeah. But well, that what if wouldn't bother you later? Like
In-
much later after you ended things? When you're in your moving on phase, perhaps.
That's what I feel like. People really struggle, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like those who stick around with someone who's cheated, they struggle more. Like you said,
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
I mean, again, in my case, like there was one case where it really turned out well, but I know people where they were accepted, and then it just got toxic and they never got over it. And I also, this comes back to what extent the person cheating. Like, I think any form of cheating is cheating.
Of course.
You can't say that I just kissed someone, I didn't sleep with them. I'm sorry, that's also cheating.
Have you seen Friends?
Of course I have.
Joey's like,
No, I'm
that's
not.
worse.
Yeah. Actually, honestly,
Yeah,
it is. It is.
that question. No,
So exactly, the point
Huh.
is that any level that you go to, you can't just justify saying, "But मैंने ये नहीं किया, मैंने ये किया."
ye kiya.
Though people do that, they do take
People
into
do
account.
that.
Like, I know that people take into account that, okay, he kissed someone, I'm going to forgive him. He didn't sleep with someone, if he slept, I wouldn't forgive him. So I don't know if, I mean, it's like I said, it's very personal. But cheating is cheating in any form. That's one thing. And second thing is, I think also what extent, in the sense, like, what if you're having an affair? Like, what if you're two timing your partner? What if you're then it's completely in a place where you cannot forgive. What if they made a mistake? That's different, right? So
Or we call it an experience on
yeah,
this show.
yeah, okay, okay,
As we,
we can use that
yeah,
word. Yeah,
yeah, let's call it experience.
but I think it comes down to what extent that person has actually broken your trust. Let's put
What
it.
do you say to people when they say that I was just physical with someone, but it didn't mean anything? It was not at all emotional.
So,
Or the other way around.
what would trouble you more, physical cheating or emotional? If your partner cheated on you,
Emotional. Emotional. Period. Emotional damage.
and would you accept physical cheating?
I mean, if he's like me, because I can be intimate with someone if I have that emotional connect with them, then will I be physical with them? So, if he's like me,
Then it's a double whammy. Right?
फिर तो
Physical and emotional both.
कलेश. But yeah, if they tell me it doesn't mean anything, I don't think it's still accept. Oh my god, can you? I need to stop. I'm moving the mic too much.
I know.
I'm just excited.
To talk about infidelity, I can see. Yeah, I think emotional is worse.
Emotional is
Yeah,
worse.
emotional is worse.
For sure.
Honestly, for me, I think all of it is. I wouldn't be accepting for any of it. And it's good to set that ground rule from the beginning.
From the beginning.
Any of my potential partner watching, I'm not taking any of your shit.
Non-negotiable.
But that's one thing that I'm glad hasn't changed in the world. A lot has changed in the world since years, but one thing that's not changed is infidelity being accepting of people cheating.
But you know, there are times where cheating and infidelity has been made acceptable. Like the times where your partner is financially or economically dependent. Or in Indian contexts, when you have so much of social pressure, right? Do you have instances where you see cheating can be made acceptable?
I don't think it should be, but I do believe there are people who suck it up and continue
Exactly.
because of
They succumb to,
yeah.
you know,
I mean, there's financial dependency, or there is children involved,
yeah.
and then they accept it, or like you said, I mean, social norms where they can't go and tell even their own parents that they are
Right.
being cheated on, and then they continue. And I do think that people who do that, what they tend to do is they land up continuing in the marriage, but maybe not sleeping in the same room, or just
Yeah.
being married for the heck of it, like for the world to see.
You know, something that I've noticed in Indian context, the woman was supposed to be in a monogamous relationship. And the same relationship, it was okay for the man to be in a polygamous
Yeah, I don't know if
relationship.
there's a terminology for it, but
I think there is.
there is. I really don't know, but
Yeah.
I do know that this happens, and I see it a lot with powerful people,
Right.
men who are extremely powerful,
Right.
and they flex their power in the wrong way.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a clear MCP thing, and it's also a patriarchal thing, misogynist, all of it
Very
together.
regressive.
Yeah, and it's basically based on that I can do it, but you're not allowed to.
Yeah.
And she's just shutting her mouth and accepting it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to call it. Like this is, but again, all I can say is that I hope that somehow people get the strength to come out of such relationship. Call them out,
Yeah.
come out. I think today's times are very different from back then. I think most parents now would support a woman if she comes out from a toxic, unhealthy relationship.
That's true.
If she comes out and says, I need to get out of it, I would think a lot of people would support.
Yeah. I think legally also we have systems or other associations that could help you get out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Organizations around the
Yeah.
city, countries rather, who
Yeah.
help you come out of it. So that's in a way abusive relationship, right?
Yeah.
You're actually abusing the powers as well,
But
and emotionally abusing.
as a millennial, if you had to give this Gen Z advice of how to confront a cheater, like a
No, like I mentioned before, I mean, I would ask them straight face to face and see how they respond to it at that point.
any cues that you would look for?
I would say that I would know my partner well enough.
Okay.
Firstly, I think like there is a itch, 3-year itch, 3-month itch. I believe a lot in that.
Uh-huh.
I had that whole 3-year itch twice in my life, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh wow, I've gone finished past the 3-year line. One of them ended in 3 years.
अच्छा.
One of them like right after 3 years. So
यार हमारा 3 month itch होना चाहिए फिर तो.
हाँ, in today's generation,
Today's time, yeah.
3 month, 3
And
month.
you know, it's so much more different than you are saying that you have that conversation. Give them the chance to at least explain themselves, right? What I have observed, gut feeling आया, ghost. That's the easiest
But
way
that's
out.
not in a relationship.
Not, but I still feel people opt for like not having this conversation in person. Like text would be better,
Yeah,
or rather just like distance out for some time.
yeah.
You know,
That's what I'm saying. Like back in the day, or what I would do is I would have a face to face. So just
Huh.
coming back to what you asked me, I would probably understand by looking at my partner in her eyes whether she cheated or not. When I ask her, of course I'll wait for answer. It's just not like I'm going to look into eyes, but I would ask her and I would see her response and I would know her expression and her hand gestures and like come on,
Next
you can catch
time.
you can catch your partner right when they lie. Like there
But
are some
Vikram-
people who have this like they would twitch or
Yeah.
they'll scratch or they'll do something in the hair. Like people do all of that when they lie.
next thing we know, you're launching a course on body language.
Oh yeah,
And if I'm in a situation, I'm calling you. Video calling you perhaps.
only
Be
for
like,
bachelorettes. Post bachelorette.
Post-bachelorette.
Post bachelorette.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think if you know your partner, then you can definitely understand when you confront them whether they've cheated on you or not. How different is it to be cheated on in a relationship from being cheated on when you're married?
I think it's easier to get out of a relationship with respect to if you're in a marriage, like you pointed out previously. So many things that you need to consider. Your families, if you have children, how stable are you financially, economically, even emotionally for that matter? At what stage are you in your life? So I think it's much easier to get out of a relationship, but again, it's not all that easy also, because when you're stepping back into the world of dating, you're going to have a lot of trust issues, insecurities.
So you're bleeding in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Um, not all insecurities come from bad relationships, right? Some
Yeah.
come from childhood or
Childhood.
whatever trauma.
Oh my God, we're going back to the childhood and attachment styles. I'm loving this.
Yeah, so in a case where it's not related to your childhood or any of that, it's purely related to a terrible past relationship. I don't know. Would you take time to get out of it, like recover, like or reach ground zero? Like because what happens is people tend, if they have a bad relation and then they get into another one, sometimes they are carrying so much of baggage
Yeah.
of that. And frankly, look, we are never 100% ready for anything in life.
For
so,
sure.
So if you're getting into a relationship while you're still recovering or healing, it's a process. Healing is a process. I think it's fine. It's okay. But I just think that there's so much trauma that goes when you realize your partner is cheating. And I think if you jump into another relationship in that kind of a situation,
And you don't give yourself that time to heal from it completely. I think I see it this way. If you are a jar of water and there are cracks and you're already leaking, if you try to pour in more water, it's going to continue to leak until you first fix those cracks, make it leak proof, and then you go out in the world and pour in more water.
look who's being the therapist now.
Well,
And
you should be sitting here and I should be sitting there. You're
what
more of a Gen Z than I am, no?
I think so. And I'm
Yeah.
not proud of that. What about the other way around? Like, what if, what about marriages? Like, when, again, from whatever you have seen around, you're too young to probably answer this for me, but like you mentioned about relationships having a different implications on the
Right.
person who's cheated on. Marriage would have separate different implications.
Right.
One is obviously where the person can't get out of it. But don't you think that today's time there's a possibility of them reshaping or redefining their marriage?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like this could be a nice evolution from like for their monogamous committed relationship to turn into an open relationship. Because also, I think the stage of their relationship is also progressing, right?
Yeah.
So,
I do know some couples who actually have done that.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people who are in a marriage for a long time, if you ask them, they have spoken about it. A lot of
Right.
people do. Look, again, what we see outside is very different. I'm talking about, again, regular normal couples, by the way.
Yeah. All that glitters is not
Yeah.
gold.
I'm not talking about some crazy wild couple. I'm talking about regular normal couples
Hanji.
of today's time. If they're married for 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, and you ask them, have you guys discussed this? And they will say yes, or like, I'm okay with the idea, my partner is not. And I've heard that.
Oh, what
So,
happens then?
Then you don't do it. Of course, you respect the partner. Like, for instance, I would never do an open relation. I can't imagine sharing my wife with someone. I'm just not okay that concept, right? And I think my partner would accept it. She would accept it or respect it, which is what many people do. But the point is, they do talk about it at some point. So if the person has had a physical has gone astray physically, or has had a one night stand, not emotionally, a one night stand.
Purely physical.
Yes, and the other partner, the partner, after coming to know about it, has kind of accepted it or slept over it for some time and felt like he or she's beyond that experience, or they're beyond just that physical, because everyone has attraction. We're coming back to that attraction part.
Yeah.
Then they may come to a conclusion of being open to the idea of open relationship. And I'm pretty sure a lot of open relationship that exist in today's time stemmed from that concept where one of them wanted to cheat or one of them was tempted, and they spoke about it and they concluded that let's have an open relationship.
And you spoke about communicating if you feel the need to get more variety or like be with anyone else. What if you over communicate? I saw this reel on Instagram by this female comedian Taylor Tomlinson where she says that her boyfriend went to Starbucks and he was hit on. He is letting her know that that he had the option of engaging with somebody else, but he didn't. So he wanted extra points for not cheating on her.
Was it a one-time thing, or does he always do that?
I think a point was that he lets her know always, but like, isn't that the bare minimum? Why do you have to, get that kind of
It's what?
advantage
How is an advantage?
of letting your partner know that I had option, but look, I still did not.
I think it depends on the intention of the person.
Intention.
Because I would tell my partner, maybe I want to share the story with her because it's funny, or because it's, yeah, it was an ego boost or something, or I'll just tell her about it because she's my partner. She probably is even my best friend. But I think the oversharing part definitely
I'm only referring to the part where it's an ego boost.
no.
Not where it's
But this sounds
with good intention.
this sounds not like an ego boost. This sounds more like he's trying to let her know that he has other options, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
That's more than ego boost. That's probably
Yeah.
a little manipulative as well.
Right.
Which yeah, that's, I think it's too much as well in that sense. But I don't. Okay, so how it works, according to me, and I've again seen that with other relationships, other people, is that if they think it's trivial, don't share it. And I think it works better because imagine a woman telling her boyfriend or husband every time someone flirts with her. They don't, because they think it's trivial. And it's fine, because if she's a beautiful woman, she gets hit on a lot. And today's world, I mean, look at what's happening on DM, right? Everyone's getting hit on left, right, center.
Left,
So
right, center.
someone might be getting hit on every single day. She's not going to go and tell her boyfriend, baby, today this happened. You know? So
Baby, nobody says that in Gen Z words, just by the way. But when
what do they say?
boo, babe,
Babe, boo, hun. Okay.
boo,
Boo is common.
common.
That's not a Gen Z thing, just so you know.
Okay, but like babe.
The standard across
आजकल तो लोग bro बोलते हैं यार.
standard, yeah, bro is a Gen Z thing.
Yeah.
The standard across generations in India is Jan. Like, I think everyone
Cringing.
yeah,
right
it's
now.
very commonly used.
But coming back to bro, my parents are bro, my grandparents are bro, my girlfriend, boyfriend is bro. Everybody is a bro.
This is the only Gen Z thing you have in you. I think it's safe to conclude that karma is a bitch. So stay away from cheating. Don't entertain someone who's cheating on you. Call it out very blatantly. And also try to stay away from that negativity, toxicity of someone cheating. Don't be a part of it. Khushi, what do you think of this? If you have to conclude, I mean, rather, what have you learned from this session? If I'm going to ask you three things, and
okay.
I would like to see your take on each of it.
Let's go.
If you're a cheater,
Don't do it.
if you're being cheated on,
Don't do them.
if you indulge with a cheater,
Don't do anyone. I mean, do yourself. I mean, you do you.
thank you so much for joining us on another spicy episode of Gibberish.
And if you enjoyed this episode, don't be a cheater. Like this video, subscribe to Gibberish, and follow wherever you're listening. Thank you and see you next time.
See you guys next time.
Bye bye.